question. What's preventing such a bright and committed group of people from generating more profit for Epoq? If you added together all our profits and losses for the last 11 years, they would net out at just £81,000. Now, we spent years trying many different things. Changing what we did not seem to unlock the treasure chest, but I figured we must be going wrong somewhere. My conclusion was, it ain't what you do, it's the way that you do it. So we came up with a theme for 2014, which was forward focus. Focus, to pay particular attention to, the act of concentrating interest or activity on something. Forward, onward, so as to make progress towards the future. And these seem very pertinent themes for Epoq. Now, I'll talk about 2013 later on today. With my lawyer not going well and the company incurring a loss of around £300,000 as a result, clearly it will be a year that we want to put behind us. They say, though, that some of the biggest learnings come from the biggest failures. And I think that will be true for us. That's not to say we're ignoring the past. Far from it. Forward focus has come from trying to learn from the mistakes of the past. Revisiting staff feedback, getting new insights from everyone on where they think we're going wrong, then the senior team spending days locked in a room with a top strategy consultant, analysing where we needed to improve, what we're best at, and what needs to change. Now, I had a tennis coach once. It was back when I was in Melbourne, actually, and it was a baking hot day. I still remember the guy in his ball machine. Anyway, my first lesson, he decides to drill me. Anyway, so I'm having to go for the left-hand side, hit loads of backhands, forehands, backhand, forehand. Anyway, after about 20 minutes, I'm totally spent, dripping with sweat, can barely speak. And he comes over to me and he goes, "Hillel, your tennis game is all about maximum effort, minimum reward." He goes, "Why are you taking all these steps up to the ball?" He goes, "Why don't you take one step and hit the bugger? Keep it simple." And that's what I want for Epoq going forward. Less wasted effort, keep it simple. Putting the past behind us and learning from it, then focusing on what we're about to do, is a big part of that. So, to 2014, what's our objectives? Well, firstly, as you would have seen in the 2014 objectives, My Lawyer as a direct-to-consumer model does not feature. The original strategy for My Lawyer was to do some test marketing, and if we got good enough metrics, to raise significant more funds for a major brand building campaign. At the start, our agencies were optimistic we could get those good metrics. But as we drew nearer to having to commit to TV, they revised their figures, influenced by actual website conversion, making it too risky to use borrowed bank finance on a TV campaign which would have taken years to repay if it hadn't worked. And the marketing activity we did run simply did not give good enough metrics to commit more money to it. However, we still have a goal of seeing if we can find a partner who has the financial muscle and strategic vision to launch a consumer brand, with us providing the technology and the know-how. We may or may not be able to find such an animal, but we're going to have a look. We're going to have an initiative to actually approach some companies, both in the UK and in the US, in the second half of 2014. Meanwhile, My Lawyer will still be used to support our institutional model. So 2014 is all about forward focus. Focus on what's underpinned the company's revenues since 2002 and where we've made the most sales, which is deals with banks and insurers. Not only in the UK, but also in the USA, where we now have a joint venture with Legalese, who are a company bigger than Epoq. In Legalese, we finally have a partner we can work with to access what is a huge market, and Graham is dedicating all his time to that. He'll talk more about his US strategy later, but it's centred on selling similar services that we do in the UK to US banks and insurers. In the UK, we gained around £420,000 worth of new institutional revenue in 2013. A good chunk of that was from More Than Motor, with the remainder being Composite and Life Club. Direct Line, Kroner, Which and First Assist Personal, hopefully to be complete in the first quarter of 2014, and they're worth £740,000 of new revenue between them. That's recurring revenue. Law Limited will be worth an additional £20,000, but it's a one-off. Hopefully it will turn into more. Our target in 2014 is £400,000 of new institutional revenue on top of Kroner, Direct Line, Which and First Assist Personal, which are already in the budget, but mostly starting at various points during the year. Also, if we have to offer an existing client a price cut, which I haven't budgeted, we've got to try and make up that income on top of signing up those £400,000 worth. In the US, we've targeted $200,000 of new revenue, that's to us, and given we split the revenue equally with Legalese, that means we will need to sign up deals worth £400,000. That doesn't mean they need to be live this year, but you have to try and sign deals worth $200,000 worth to Epoq. Maintaining revenue from existing clients or increasing it is becoming essential for us. And with a growing number of clients, 2014 will see Richard have existing client management as his main focus. We're hoping, although still to be finally decided, to recruit a sales director to lead the sales team, drive longer-term sales growth, and free up Richard more to focus on our existing clients. Basically, we need to bring in the number of deals we have done in the last 12 months every year, not just 1 in 3. The challenge will be changing our sales approach to ensure that happens, and Emma is now going to be dedicating her time 100% to support that. For law firms, we won't be selling direct. Direct law will tick along with whatever firms we have. New sales will all be based on Law Draft and sold via Ticket, a practice and case management systems provider to law firms. They're targeting 14 sales in 2014, which is a fairly modest target, although our contract with them is not quite signed yet. If for any reason it doesn't happen, then we'll find another provider to partner up with. Now, sometimes I get the feeling that people think Epoq's success is totally dependent on our sales and marketing effort. Don't get me wrong, it is important, but to me, everything is linked. Very recently, Which hired a law firm to do due diligence on our legal content. And if we can't satisfy them our legal content is okay, then that's a big problem. Likewise, pretty much every time we deal with a new bank or insurer, they do due diligence on our web and document automations technology. Pretty much now all the time, if somebody wants to use our legal document review or legal helpline in Hinckley, they want to come up, they want to see what our service levels are, they want to see what our customer support is, and they want to see what our contingency is like. So everyone here is either directly or indirectly involved in sales. And I think we'd do well to remember that. And that's on top of doing whatever it takes to keep our existing clients happy. The values-related objectives we set for 2014 reflect this. Improving website and content ease of use, and generally finding ways to de-stress legal services and improve users' experience of us. Helps customer feedback scores and comments, which win us brownie points with existing clients and that we can show to prospects. Also, potential new clients and senior contacts at existing clients are often trying our service. The better they find it, the better it is for us. You have to trust me on that. Richard recently received feedback from more than the number of senior people in the insurer had used and loved our document service, and we really need that to continue. Improving our content, user journeys, customer and legal support is itself linked to increasing usage. And usage is linked to maintaining revenue with existing clients, which is vital for us. Because if usage is low, sometimes clients renegotiate. So getting usage higher will be a really important objective in 2014 and beyond. Let no one think that their role at Epoq does not affect how we do as a company, because it does. Every one of you has some impact in how much our services are used. From the simplicity of our legal content to the ease of the customer journey on our websites. And later on today, we'll be doing a brainstorming exercise to get as many ideas as we can to kick off a project designed to increase usage and improve the experience our customers have of creating a legal document. Okay, so that rounds off the high-level strategy for 2014. Let's talk about what happens after that. Okay, so for a complete change of subject, I'm going to talk about blobs. Because, believe it or not, I was actually asked to. Well, not about blobs, but people have often said to me, Hillel, we don't seem to really have a clear route to our long-term vision. What actually needs to happen to make our long-term vision a reality? Well, I'm going to tell you, blobs. So what we did at our strategy sessions was analyse our historic revenues and concluded that the average size of an institutional deal was around £100,000. And we used yellow and green circles to represent that £100,000 deals, hence the term blobs. Now, I'm not going to bore you with the whole chart and what we went through, but we also concluded that historically we did 1 and a bit new deals per annum on average, and that revenue increases from existing clients just about balanced out revenue we were losing from existing clients. So as a company to grow, we needed to expand our rate of new blob acquisition. As a result of no longer pursuing a direct-to-consumer model, we decided we had to revise our long-term financial goal, our £5 million in 5 years objective. It just wasn't realistic anymore. We've scaled back our goal to something more reachable, but still stretching, which is £1.5 million profit by the end of 2017. And what needs to happen to achieve that? Well, we need to sign up 4 new deals per annum in the UK every year for 3 years, and that will give us £1.2 million profit. And then we need to get £300,000 worth of profit from the US. Or maybe it will be vice versa. Graham certainly thinks it will be. We drill down further. For every 100 prospects we approach, roughly we get around 10 meetings. And for every 10 times we present to a new client who are really interested in our product, we get around 1 sale. So to make 4 sales a year, we need to be approaching 400 prospects. Or else we need to improve the rate at which we manage to get meetings from those we approach, or improve the rate at which we close deals from those people that we meet with. And we need to do this every year. Tough, but possible, especially in the USA, where the market for our institutional model is much newer and the prospect pool is much bigger. So we're dedicating all our sales effort around more prospecting, more relationship building, and how we do it to improve our closure rate. And Richard and Graham will both talk more about their sales plans later. It isn't rocket science, though. It is graft, focus, and continuous improvement in how we approach sales. And hopefully a sales director will help with that. It's a slightly complicated graph to summarise our financials. I'll quickly explain it to you. So on the left-hand scale here, we have our turnover, and the blue blocks are also our turnover. So this year about 2.7, and in 2017, hopefully we'll be growing to around £5.2 million turnover. On the right-hand scale over here, where it says minus 0.5 to 2 million, we have our profit, and the red line on this graph indicates our profit. So at the moment, we're making a £300,000 loss, and we're looking to be making £1.5 million profit. Pretty much even growth line. Now in 2014, I'm expecting our revenues to grow to just under 3 million, and I'll explain a little bit more about that later on. At the moment, I'm budgeting a profit of around £18,000 for 2014. Now, if you remember the previous slide, I was looking for £150,000 this year, and that seems like a big difference. It is actually very doable, but we'll need some things to go our way in terms of new client go-live dates and the renewal terms we're currently negotiating with some of our clients. And also some potential extra revenue that we've already been discussing with some of our existing clients. It is doable, though. And then it'll be down to whether we can sign up the number of new clients we need to do every year to hit the long-term goal. But hopefully the route for us is much clearer now on what we need to do to get where we want to be. As part of maintaining forward focus, I felt it was important we had a clear measure of all our 2014 objectives. We want to be able to monitor how we're doing as the year goes by. So with that in mind, we've drawn up a scorecard which lists the key objectives, and you'll be seeing this throughout the year, especially at staff meetings. And you'll see some of the financial metrics on the sort of the right-hand side of the circle from about 2 to 4 o'clock. Then the arrows really indicate some metrics we haven't quite worked out, but broadly we know where we want to be. So we want to increase service usage. I haven't said a percentage yet. We want to be improving website and content ease of use. What measures are we going to be using to do that? Well, we've harmonised all our customer feedback surveys. We're going to start to get some standardised scores on how people have found our customer service, how easy they find our content to use, how easy they found our websites to use. We're also going to be benchmarking the percentage of our existing clients that have been using a legal document. So we'll know for customers like More Than an AA what percentage are actually using it and seeing if we can improve it. Now those things are going to be quite hard to do. I'm not expecting this to be like an instant in 3 or 6 months we'll do something. I think this will be something that we'll need to be tracking and looking at for quite a period of time. And it may well be that some of these metrics that we've chosen might not quite work. But we'll look to find something to give us some indication that we're going in the right direction. So this slide to me sums up what focus is all about and why the start of that was defining our mission, vision and values. We define a realistic goal. 1.5 million profit by end of 2017 that fits with our core purpose of making law easy. We work out what needs to happen to get there at a departmental level and then at an individual level. It should be simple. If every person achieves their objectives, the departments will achieve their objectives. And if the departments achieve their objectives, the company achieves its goals. And that's why the final 2014 objective for the company is around objectives themselves, and why we're introducing a framework to ensure that people are clear on their objectives, that they link to those of the department and the company, that people are challenged, have the training they need to achieve their objectives, and are developed to improve at what they do. I've talked about this a while now, and it will be starting next month. I know you all will have been invited to a session with Helena Sharpstone, a trainer, and the managers have had a separate session, who'll be talking about how to get the most out of objective setting, one-to-ones, and feedback. I will tell you now, it is not the system itself that makes it work. It is how you use it and embrace it. So I'll be looking to everyone to take responsibility for making it work. Staff surveys going back 4 years have consistently said that we were poor at setting clear objectives, giving good constructive feedback, and developing staff. So I hope this will be the start of improving that, although I fully expect this process to take years to start working really well. But it isn't just about achieving individual objectives. So we have individual objectives for sure, and yes, we want to be clear on those and achieve them. But our job does not stop with our objectives, because if sales succeed and we don't deliver, we fail. If sales sell and we deliver and our legal content is a mess, we fail. If we sell, our technology is good, our legal content is good, but our legal and customer support is poor, then we fail. In some ways, for a small company, we can be quite siloed. So I just want to put out there that we only succeed if the whole company succeeds. If you succeed and the person next to you, or in another department, above you or below you, fails, the company fails, which affects everyone. The best teams are those where everyone takes responsibility for the team's objectives. So I'd like to encourage everyone to take an active interest in helping others achieve what they need to do. Okay, so we've had Bananarama and the Fun Boy 3 singing "It Ain't What You Do, It's the Way That You Do It." We've had Queen singing "One Man or One Woman, One Goal, One Mission." For us all to be clear on our goals and make sure we achieve them, whilst at the same time remembering Bob Hope and Bing Crosby dancing about teamwork, the power of a group helping each other. So this month marks 14 years with Epoq for me, and I'd say the last year in particular has been a massive learning curve. Not only coping with what's been a particularly difficult 12 months at Epoq, but also learning what it means to be a good CEO, about the difference between managing and leading, and indeed what leading is, which in turn has meant learning a lot about myself. Now I say this often, but I can probably never say it enough. Working with you people, for me, is what makes getting up for work in the morning such a pleasure. I wish I could make this company a success for all of you. But actually, I am just one person, and I can't do it alone. I promise my dedication to support you and help you make it a success. And what is success? Well, more dosh would always be nice. I've always had this dream of us making our first £1 million profit and all getting big fat bonuses. I'm sure that's a dream we'd all share, and I think we're due. We're overdue. I think the part of my job I like the most is being able to share out our financial success. I also love the challenge of changing the way legal services are delivered. And in particular, I delight at the amazing customer feedback we get, which is really as a result of all your dedication and hard work. So I'd like to thank you for all your dedication and hard work during what's been a very difficult 2013. You are what makes Epoq the great company that it is. Now personally, I'd make law cheaper and more accessible to more people. That's really just because lawyers piss me off. They're too expensive. But most of all, what drives me in my role, in a very paternal way, is trying to keep all of you happy and fulfilled working for Epoq. I like a challenge. So I hope 2014 is a happy, healthy and great year for us all. Thank you very much.